Well, happy 4th of July, good people, and Eagle fans and 49er fans. As always, Mark Holmes here, and I appreciate you guys. It is the 4th of July. Hope you all have a great holiday. Be careful out there. Do not blow your hand off, okay? Don't eat too much, okay? Don't eat too much, because I'm going to tell you, putting it on is easy. When you get to be older like me, it's hell taking that shit off. So, seeing that it's going to be a beautiful day today. Right now it's only 70 degrees, and I found out that I got a little bit of a problem. I use cellulose insulation in the red brick house, blowing it, and it's settled, so I don't have the R value that I need. And since it's actually cool this morning, and I have a helper that can load the hopper, I'm gonna go get up and get in my attic and blow in some more insulation to try and help the R value up in there, because what happens is when it gets over 95 degrees, the heat load gets pushed down, and that's where I need the insulation. So we're going to do that this morning for 4th of July. We're going to throw some steaks on the grill. I'm going to make some potato salad, and I'm going to have a salad to go with it for my 4th of July. And I'll make some beans. I'll make some baked beans, and we'll have a good one there. So a couple of things. Now, this doesn't have anything to do with the Dallas Cowboys, but this is history repeating itself. I always tell people I love history, as you know, having a 205-year-old house that I'm constantly working on like it's a 205-year-old house. But I was talking to a Commanders fan that I've known for years about the stadium, and he's like, man, they need a new stadium bad and stuff. And he said, what the hell is going on with it? Well, here's the thing. Congress ended up giving the federal lands to the District of Columbia to do the stadium. Josh Harris and crew, they're basically looking at spending like $2.6 billion to build the stadium, and DC is looking to spend about $600,000 in infrastructure, roads and improvements and things like that, which will help the city. Because you look at what's happened with National Park used to be where the strip clubs and everything else, and drug addicts and things, that area is completely done. They built the Audi Stadium over there for soccer. They've got National Park, all of the bars, the clubs, the condos and everything else. It's been an economic windfall. It's been a boom. And the same thing could probably happen there in the Southwest waterfront. They've got trails that are planned to go there on the Anacostia River. Maybe they'll clean that sucker up, and it'll end up being another shining spot for the city, and not to mention the revenue that'll come in off of it. So they're supposed to have the deal done by the 12th of July, in the next week, basically. And the DC City Council is basically saying, I think we want a different deal. We want a better deal. We want to skim something off the top. And they basically put it off until September, which is basically throwing the whole stadium in limbo to the point where the deal could fall through. Now, there are other sites that they have. Now, there's right across from the MGM in Maryland, a historic farm park that's been there since like the early 1900s, which has great sight lines. You look right down and see the Washington Monument, the planes coming in and everything else. That's one spot, and it's right next door to a casino, so that would be a great spot. Great for me because I ain't looking to spend my tax dollars on it. There's, of course, Maryland would like to go ahead and put them back at FedEx Field and build a whole nother complex there, but I don't think the Commanders want that. There was discussed where Dan Snyder had actually put a contract in on like 400 acres in Woodbridge, Virginia, which would be a freaking nightmare because there's no metro there. And it's just Interstate 95. And anybody who's ever tried to go to Woodbridge from DC, during rush hour, it would be a pooch screw. Then there's a site out in Dulles Airport, which might not be a bad spot because it'd be easy to get in and out. There's hotels there. There's Route 28. There's Route 7. There's 66. But the big drawback is, again, it would end up being my tax dollars to pay for that thing. And I ain't trying to spend any money for it. So the thing is, this is really history repeating itself because the DC mayor at the time, Sharon Pratt Kelly, screwed over Jack Kent Cooke, who wanted to rebuild at RFK. Didn't happen. They then went to Potomac Yards, which is in Alexandria, and broke ground on the site, and Alexandria people protested against it and ended up forcing it as non-issue. They couldn't build it there. Then they went to Richmond, Virginia, which would have been 2 hours away from DC, and that didn't work out. They went out to Dulles Airport trying to get a deal there. That didn't work out until he finally settled on Landover, Maryland, which he renamed Raljon for while he was still alive after his 2 kids, Ralph and John, and then did a stupid thing. Instead of letting the team go to his son, he sold it to Dan Snyder. And Dan Snyder was the nightmare that was for the Commanders fans for all those years. So, yeah, that shit's bad. Yeah. So, and you get the NFL planning on putting on the draft in D.C. Not this year. This year it's in Pittsburgh, in which case it might be a new coach and error and everything else. And I'll get to that conspiracy theory a little later. So yeah, it's they're in limbo. And then of course they got Terry McLaurin, who doesn't seem to be worried about getting his contract done. There's Noah Brown with the kidney injury that they haven't really talked about, so you don't know what his availability is. You got Michael Gallup, who we know was on one leg when he was here, and dealing with his issues, hamstring issue now. And who am I missing? Oh, and then we got Fat Debo. We got Debo. Craig. Yeah, he looked about like Debo. They might want to put him on the defensive line because I know they're short on the defensive line. And so I say all this to say that there are some issues for the Commanders. And we also have to look at this and say there are a difficulty in having a magical season back to back. It's true. It's hard. It's hard out here for a pimp. So, with that being said, I'm back here, and I got this machine on the back of here. I'm going to go up here and get up in the attic with the respirator and some eye protection on, and blow some insulation. Time to get blown. Yeah. I've got my buddy Mike here. Not Mike, my son, but Mike, who is an incredible, hard-working kid. Well, he's a kid. He's in his 20s. Who's working with me, and that's why I'm trying to take advantage of this stuff while I can, because he's here. All right, good people. Have a good 4th of July. I know you're maxing and relaxing, but some of us got to go to work. Peace.